So, everybody has been following me. I found out this is Miss Nikki from LOL with Miss Nikki at IntellectualRadio.com. Just want to give a shout out to you guys. I had no idea that you guys were following my hospital journey, so thanks to the fans. It's been a while since I've done an interview, and I've been dying to do this interview, so I decided what better way to do it while I'm in the hospital. I have nothing else better to do. So I've been getting visitors and getting nurses. I decided I'd do something different and shake it up. So I have been so excited to do this particular interview because this man is amazing. If you don't know who he is, you will today, and you need to follow him. It's Chicago World News is here in studio with me. I'm so glad to have you. Thank you for making the trip.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I know this is kind of a different setting for you.
Hey, any place with a camera and a microphone's a studio. You can make it out of anything.
See, that's the thing. We're junkies. Like, we have to have it. I'm sure you're missing the YouTube channel because you've been doing a lot of stuff on Instagram. That's where I follow you most.
Yeah. Instagram, Twitter, I've been more active on there, making more people mad on there, you know what I'm saying?
You stir that pot.
Easier to get to people's nerves quicker, you know what I'm saying? Just a click of a button, so yeah, been doing that.
How long have you been doing Chicago World News?
I've been like 2 years. I had a YouTube channel before that, like about 2.5, 3 years ago, but nobody was following. I had like 100 followers, you know what I'm saying? And then a couple stories happened that started to get the followers up. And so, you know, as you know it today, the Chicago World News has probably been about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Oh, okay, that's fantastic. I need to know, and I'm sure there's people out there who want to know, before you became Chicago World News, you were working in the Chicago public school system. Right. You were just basically the blue-collar kind of guy, 9 to 5. What, like, sparked all of this from being that straight blue-collar guy working in the school system trying to help these kids out, to getting to the grit of these neighborhoods and what's going on?
You know, to be honest with you, I never even planned it that way. Like, I had a YouTube channel where I was just uploading videos of, you know, random stuff that I just wanted to save on YouTube. Me playing basketball, me having a conversation with this person, like, stuff like that. And then some people on YouTube saw where I was, and they saw the people I was interacting with and, like, what I was doing, and they realized that I lived in Chicago. And I think these were like fans of Chicago music from outside the city, and they started asking me if I could do videos about, you know, certain people that they were in tune with in the city. So I just started answering their requests and doing that on demand. And then the fans actually kind of decided what direction the channel took, because they kept on sending me requests every day. Can you do a video on this? And it wasn't really stuff that I was making videos on previously, but I was responding to the requests. And the fans kind of just took it in the direction where it is now. So, like, as far as like getting into the grid of the neighborhoods, that was where the most of the interest was. You know what I'm saying? I was doing a lot of videos about politics, but the channel started to attract a fan base of like younger viewers who didn't really care about that stuff. So I still drop videos on that every now and then, but those don't do the kind of views that the street stuff does.
What is your age range, do you think, of your fan bases mostly?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, there's people of all ages that tune in, but it's probably, the majority is probably teens to early 20s.
Okay.
You know, and even some grammar school kids, I would say, I see a lot of them too.
You grew up in Chicago, am I correct? You were born and raised in Chicago?
I moved around like about 12 times the whole Chicago area, so city and suburbs, northwest side, North Pole, northeast side, East Rogers Park, and then some out in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? But when I was in the suburbs, I was always like, right on the dividing line. Like, I lived literally on Harlem Avenue on the other side, like the other side of Chicago, so most of my friends were still, you know, in the city. But yeah, like, I literally moved like about 12 times when I was growing up. My parents were just like nomads, just moving from house to house. Yeah.
But I mean, like, in your youth, did you grow up like regular, like, brother and sister kind of two-parent household?
Yeah, I have one sister and both my parents. Yeah, my parents were still, they've been married 40 years.
Oh, God bless, man. You never hear anything past 40 days.
Yeah.
God bless them for 40 years.
Yeah, no, I'm from a Greek immigrant family. Like, you know, the way that my parents were raised and the way they came up, like, divorce was just like, that just didn't happen. Like, you didn't even hear about that.
That's not an option. I don't know any Greeks who get divorced.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening. It's probably happening now, I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? But back then, when they got married, it wasn't even, culturally, it just wasn't accepted.
So now that you are, you know, in this household growing up, as you are a teenager, did any of this lifestyle attract you?
It didn't attract me. Like, guys would ask me every now and then, you should be down or whatever. And I was always kind of like, nah, because the way I saw it back then, like when I was growing up, there was still a lot of structure and stuff. So
Well, let me pause real quick. I want to explain what I'm saying by lifestyles. I'm talking about the gang life, the street life, the drugs. That's what I'm bringing up. So if anybody was following me that didn't catch what I was into, that's where we're going with that.
Yeah, growing up, when I was growing up, like in the 80s and 90s, there was still structure, there was still bosses to most of these gangs, especially like, because I was growing up a lot around Latino gangs. I didn't really grow up around too many black gangs until I was like a late teenager. But like the Latino gangs were structured. They had big homies who told the shorties what to do. And I just didn't, the thing that drove me away the most was the idea of taking orders from a guy who I didn't really know and probably didn't have my best interest. Like if he tells me to kill, I gotta go kill. And he doesn't care if I get locked, you know what I'm saying? So it was like,
I didn't care if you get killed.
Right, I didn't want, to have to take orders from somebody. I just wanted to be my own boss and do my own thing. So yeah, that's why I never kind of got. Plus, back then everybody was getting jumped in. You got violations. I mean, now a lot of these guys, these gangs, they don't even have violations or get jumped in anymore. And like when I would see like guys on my block get jumped in, I was like, that ain't for me. You know what I'm saying?
Which is something you never hear. Most people are attracted to it, at an early age, and they can't wait to get into that lifestyle because they think money, drugs, that now they have access to everything.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you bring to the light in your videos, you tell these kids, like, listen, here's your chance to get scholarships in school at this age, look out for this. Plan your life. There's only two ways you're going to end up. And I'm glad you constantly reiterate that in your videos. So now you're an adult and you're getting, out of mom and dad's house trying to live your life.
Right.
And that's when did you decide you wanted to be a teacher? Did you always know you wanted to teach? Like, how did we get there?
Well, when I was in late teens, like 17, I moved out of my parents' house with my grandma. She lived in East Rogers Park, which at the time, like this is in the 90s, that neighborhood was a lot more like gang infested even than it is now, you know what I'm saying? And this was the first time that I was around black gangs. And they did things kind of different than the Hispanic gangs, you know what I'm saying? They didn't really have as many big homies and stuff. So I started to meet a lot of them. And I started to get acquainted with a lot of the kids who went to Sullivan High School over there on Bosworth, like just north of Devon. Mm-hmm. So I started to kind of get like familiar with that scene. And then I started to go to college, and then it was about halfway through college I decided that I needed a backup plan to my main plan, which was computer science. And I was like, well, if computer science doesn't work out, I want a backup plan. And so I got a teaching certificate, and I decided to just actually stick with that, even though I could have kept going with the computer science thing. I decided to do the teaching thing because I was just getting interested in, how the youth were coming up and some of the issues they were facing, like as teenagers. So in that area of the city. So people ask me, do you want to teach in the burbs and all that? I was like, no, I want to teach like right here and in this area. So that's what I did. I got a job as a permanent sub at Sullivan. That was my first job as a substitute teacher in CPS. And from there I just stuck with that. So.
Wow. And I think you had an impact on those kids because, I've seen a couple of the videos where you were in school, and, they just gravitated to you.
Well, I was kind of a bad teacher. As far as like not making the kids do stuff, I would let the kids do what they want. If you have to go to the bathroom, go, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go into this other class, go. So the kids obviously, they're going to like you because of that, you know what I'm saying? So
where were you when I was growing up?
I'm giving kids free passes to the lunchroom. I was one of those.
Where did you teach?
I taught more than 50 high schools because I worked for the district office, and so I would see. In the beginning, it was a phone system. They would call you. Can you go to this high school? Yeah. And then later, it changed to an internet system. It's called ASOP. It's like this system where you see all the openings for the schools and you can pick anyone you want. Mm-hmm. So when that happened, I started to teach more on the west side. Mm-hmm. In my mom's old neighborhood in Garfield Park, like Marshall High School over there. That was where I like to teach the most. There, or High School, Crane. Where else did I teach? Phoenix Military was only one time. Austin High School. Now it's Austin Business Entrepreneurship. But that was more fun, you know what I'm saying, than teaching it.
For you than the kids?
Yeah, it was more fun for me than the kids. But so I started to do that later, and I just had fun just going around to different high schools. That was the thing about the job. It was never boring, you know what I'm saying? You go to a different school every day.
Are you in contact with any of your students, your parents?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of my, I'm not going to say names, but there are a lot of my sources for the videos that I did.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was the same age practically as them when I was,
wow.
I started off, I was 22, and I had kids in my class that were 19. So like one of my day one homies that I just lost was a kid who I was friends with from the neighborhood before I even became a teacher. And then he had me in class. He's like, bro, he was tripping out when he saw that I was his teacher. So, you know, he just actually got killed a few years, but he was only like a few years younger than me. And we were friends before that. We stayed friends like while I was a teacher, and we stayed friends after that. Yeah.
That had to be so hard. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Crazy. Wow. And so what happened that you no longer worked for CBS?
I uploaded a video of me in the class, and two of the students were fighting. It was like a play fight, but I uploaded a video to my YouTube channel like a complete idiot, okay? IQ points deficient, like in the extreme, and I uploaded this video. They saw it. Somehow the kids, you know, got it back to the principal. Bye. Instant
fire.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't like the video I uploaded wasn't like an actual fight. It was like a girl slapping a guy in the face, and you know everybody was laughing. You know, it was like one of those funny clips, but
they didn't think it was funny.
Not funny to them.
Wow. So what did you do after that?
After that, just started. Let me see. I was doing security. I was doing taxi driving, and just YouTube on the side, you know what I'm saying?
Taxi driving had to give you a whole lot of material to think about.
Yeah, I was on the night shift, and it was that was actually that was a more dangerous job than substitute teaching.
I believe it.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of stories from that too.
That's what I said. You must have had a lot of material to think about. I can only imagine.
I never got robbed on that job though. The only time I ever got robbed on a job was on a security job.
Wow. Wow. And what did they steal? Like, what were you securing?
It was crazy. I had a lunch with me. I had my backpack. They took the lunch in the backpack. I had a laptop in the back of my car, and they didn't take the laptop.
Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So, okay, now you're starting to do YouTube a little more. Social media is picking up. When did you start? I mean, because like you have videos where you're out driving, you know, where you're interviewing other people. Like, when did you decide that this is how you wanted to do your videos?
Okay. I would say like probably a month through, because people were saying, oh, you're not really in Chicago or whatever, you're not really out there, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna take the camera on the street and just show them.
And it's crazy because I've watched the comments, and there's been times he gets like 400, 500 comments, people, and they still think you're not in Chicago. I don't understand. It's like you couldn't be more in Chicago than some of the places you put out there, like Jimmy's Hot Dogs. I mean, hello. There's if you're from Chicago, you know that's a historic spot.
Yeah.
That is where everybody goes to eat.
I mean, fans come on there and just say whatever, you know what I'm saying? I killed this guy. I, slept with this girl. Like, they just say stuff just to be funny.
Well, I left it because you got random people that, like, know each other because of your site. Yeah. So it's kind of like they talk to each other. Exactly. But how shocked were you when you got discovered that your identity had been revealed?
I felt, stupid again, because I had left an old Instagram account active that I had from before with my pictures on it that I had forgotten to lock up. You know what I'm saying? After I started the channel, somebody found it out, and they just recognized the jacket that I had worn in an interview with Zach TV. Shout out Zach TV. They recognized the jacket that I had worn. My face had been blurred out in that interview, but they recognized the same jacket. And then they put my pictures all over there, and then that went viral.
Yeah, dude. So, I happened to see it that day, and I was like, holy moly, that went quick. Yeah. Because I was thinking to myself, like, you don't use your name, so, how on earth did they find you?
Right. They recognized the jacket.
Of all things, unbelievable.
Yeah. And they paired it up, too, because, like, I had mentioned in the Zach TV interview that my name was Greek. And then they had seen on my personal Instagram account a Greek name, so they
put two and two together. Oh wow! Did it put you like in, I don't know, like a sense of fear now? It was like now it's going to be different. Now I won't be able to continue getting this information.
It put me in a sense of like now I got to move differently. But as far as fear, I know where all the guys who want to get me live. So I know like what neighborhoods to go to and when, and actually I went back to one of their neighborhoods like the very next day. I don't know, like I guess just living here my whole life, I just like I'm numb to that whole sense of like caution and stuff, which is probably not a healthy thing, but it is what it is. So I wasn't really nervous about that.
No, because I just saw all the comments of people were like, man, you got to get out of this. You got to get out of Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, go back to Greece. You know, like.
Yeah, no.
That was crazy.
I mean, if I was beefing with like the Russian mob, I'd be out of the country. But
Yeah.
I mean, these are like street gangs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not too afraid that they're gonna like track my location and, you know, find out who get my birth certificate and all that kind of. I mean, some of them might, but you know, I might be underestimating them, which might cost me in the end. But I mean, it is what it is. That's how I see it. So.
And how did Zach TV feel like when all of it unloaded? Because I'm sure like their numbers were crazy. I'm sure they got crazy comments.
Yeah, I didn't really talk to Zach about that. Because Zach is actually friends with some of the guys who like want to get me. So I don't really pretend like I'm too buddy with him just for the sake of not getting him in trouble with them. You know what I'm saying? If they see me and him like we're starting to get a close business relationship, they might get on his ass. So I don't like put him into that. And like also like a lot of the guys who give me information, I never put their names out there. I never like I always tell guys, you know, before I interview with them, I say, you know, you might want to think about the fact that guys might think that you and I are homies now, and they might get on you because of the stuff that they got beef with me about. You know? So I'm cognizant of that. You know, everyone who's connected with me might see repercussions from it.
And I know your family knows what you do. How are they about all of this?
My mom is nervous. My dad, I don't think he really knows like the full extent of what I'm
doing.
Yeah. I don't think he really knows, but my mom is nervous though.
Your sister?
She just moved out of Chicago.
Okay.
So she's good. Yeah, she's good.
But yeah, I know it can't be easy at all by any stretch. And that's why I'm like surprised that you continue to do it. I mean, on the one hand, I feel, and this is my personal opinion that I'm giving, I'm not trying to be biased in any kind of way. Once I started following your channel, and I happened to come on your channel by accident, I had subscribed to somebody and you popped up. So that's how I found you. But I feel you're educational. I don't see it as a lot of people feel that Chicago World News is stirring the pot and creating more problems in the hood by putting the information that you put out there. They're saying like you're continuing this, you know, you're not helping the cause any. But who is helping the cause? I mean, like you and I have had discussions over the phone, like where are these kids getting these guns from? Like, you know, where are they getting the money to, you know, get the bullets and do what they're doing? It's not that you are supplying it to them or I'm supplying it to them. So how is what you're doing stirring the pot? Me, I'm happy to know what neighborhood not to drive into and, you know what I'm saying? It's educational as well in the fact of when you hear about what neighborhoods are getting lit up every day and you hear about like the other, I'm going to say Chief Keefs of the world because everybody says that Chief Keef destroyed Chicago. I don't feel that way. Because I haven't followed anything about him, so I can't say that. But a lot of people feel that. To me, I see it as everybody chooses their own path. And if they're emulating somebody else that is doing negative things, how do you stop that? How do you stop that as being the, man, this is what I want to do. You know, I'm thinking I'm cool, I'm big and bad, and I'm going to be like this person. And you're letting them know. There's only one person who's been successful, maybe two. Yeah. It's over. It's a wrap.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many outlets that, you know, just straight up glorify it and don't tell the other side of it. You know, the mamas who are crying and got to grieve for the rest of their life. So I felt like, you know, this perspective was needed. You know what I'm saying? You know, somebody who's going to tell the opposite, the dark side of this whole thing.
Because I'm like, okay, how like for me, one of the questions I have is like, your personal feelings about when Father, I can never say his name,
Flager.
Thank you. Like when he comes out and does his stuff in the community, a lot of people are dead set against him. It's either one or the other. You hate him or you love him. Right. You know, what is your personal opinion about him?
Oh, about Father Flager? I mean, I'm one of these guys who I don't know, you know, everything that he's doing, but I see the effort that he's making. And if I'm not out there making a similar effort, I'm not going to criticize people that are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got the YouTube channel or whatever where I try to give advice, but, you know, I'm not in it to the extent that he is. So, you know, I say to everybody, do their thing. Everyone helps in their own way, you know what I'm saying? So, without knowing him personally and talking to him personally, I couldn't really say, you know, he's doing a good job or he's doing a bad job. But from what I've seen, I mean, I haven't seen him do anything that's going to make it worse. You know what I'm saying? So everything that I see is...
He's making a positive effort.
Yeah, net positive, yeah.
And I mean, do you feel that that's what you're doing in the sense of...
I feel like I'm just neutral, like nothing's really happening. I mean, you know, most of the guys who they say are gonna do something because of my channel. They're doing it because of revenge. They're doing it because, somebody killed their homie and they want payback. Whether my channel was up or not, they're going to be doing what they're doing. So I feel like I've, if anything, stopped some of the social media beef. Because I've gotten a lot of gang members to straight up delete their social media accounts.
Wow.
Because I'll put, whatever they're saying on my channel, and they feel like, well, we don't want that type of publicity, so I'm going to just delete my thing. And that's averted some conflict, so.
But I mean, do you feel that you're educating in a way?
Some people, not everybody. Some people are going to be, are going to close their ears to it. A lot of times when I start going into the educational stuff, people click the video off. They want to hear about the killing and stuff like that. But some people have reached out to me and said, hey, bro, you told me about this, and this got me, this got me to take this class, or this got me to get this job. Like, people have actually told me.
I was just going to ask you, do people reach out to you and say,
They
like,
do.
you know what, I've gotten out of a gang, or?
They do.
Wow.
Yeah, they do it in private because they're embarrassed to do it in public. But a lot of people have said, I was gonna go and like shoot this guy, and when you said this in this video, it made me think about it and not do it. Like, people have said that to me. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that you're doing what you're doing, if that's the result, whether people know about it or not. But it's good to hear it in this interview that you're making a difference and a change, and that you're willing to share that. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just so crazy to me, the numbers that you came up with, the statistics of the ages of these kids that are, 8 years old, 11 years old.
Absolutely. Yeah, the average age of a killer in Chicago, I think the last statistic I heard was 15. You know what I'm saying? It's nuts.
What's going on in the homes? Like, where are the parents at? Like, where are...
Some of the parents are trying their best, but, they might have too many kids to keep an eye on all of them.
You had that story that you and I talked about. What was his name?
Lil Yummy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of like 15 kids or something like that, I heard, that was in that house. Not from his mom, but
He was in his grandma's house.
His grandma was taking care of a bunch of kids, and he was one of like 15. So, how are you going to keep track of 15 kids, you know what I'm saying? So,
and it's too easy in these streets to get that attention somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah, or, some of them are, some people are strung out on drugs.
Single parent?
Yeah, single parent, and a lot of the moms, too, like the money the kid is getting from the streets.
Sure.
They might not ask any questions because they don't want to know, but they like that extra money coming in, so.
Wow.
It's a tough situation.
Absolutely.
And some of the moms, they had boyfriends and dads who gangbang too, so it's like, it's not really something that they see as out of the ordinary, and they won't even want their kid to be like a savage. They think that's cool. Like, some of these moms are having these kids at like 14, 15, and like, so when the kid is like 10, 11, the age to start gangbanging, they're in their mid-20s, and they're still at the age where they're thinking like, oh yeah, this gang thing is cool. So it's like, it's just crazy.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's a complete vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Have there been stories that you've aired that just were like too deep for you? That you were like, I feel like I can't do it, but I need to do it?
Well, the Lil Yummy story was one. Not too many. Some of the ones where I see the police shootings, that Laquan McDonald story, that one really got to me, because the Laquan McDonald story, I've seen a lot of police shootings where the guy's running and kind of half turns around and gets shot, or something where it's questionable. But this was just like cold-blooded murder. The kid's just walking down the street and he continues to put bullets in him while he's laying on the. That was just like.
That was
sad.
too much.
And to see a cop act like a gang member, who wants to kill one of his enemies, was just like, I had never seen that before on camera. I had seen guys with shots in their back and stuff, and things where I was like, this is some dirty stuff, but to actually see him putting 16 bullets in my camera, that was a tough story to do. And I've done a lot of stories on that because it just sticks with me, So.
Wow. And as far as like community, how do you feel about, making a change, like coming out? Now that everybody knows what you look like, have you thought about doing something a little more public, or?
No, the opposite, because like the other day, my aunt, she wanted to go out to a restaurant in one of the neighborhoods where like some of these guys who don't like me live, and I told her, I said I could go there alone, but I can't go there with you, because they might shoot me and not care that you're in the way. So like, I'll probably at some point do that, but right now it's just too.
It's too risky.
It's gonna bring people out, you know what I'm saying?
It's too risky.
Shouldn't be there. So. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I thought was crazy that you had talked about on one of the websites is that, like kids in other states, like they think it's cool to be Chicago, so they're saying stuff not knowing that is not cool. Like,
right, smoking hookah and all this.
Yeah, they don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do we end all this? Like, have you thought, like, how do...
That's the thing. I hope that culture doesn't spread to other cities. But, you know, because it is, like, largely a cultural problem. You know what I'm saying? This code that you have to get revenge when your homie gets killed. This is what keeps this cycle going. Like, this idea that if you don't kill the guy or you don't kill somebody from the neighborhood who killed your friend, then you're, you know,
you might as well be like them.
A disgrace, you know what I'm saying? So when you have that code in place, that ensures that the violence is never going to stop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
basically.
So, yeah, I hope that code doesn't spread anywhere else, and it already is in a lot of other cities, but
wow.
I hope not.
Well, we're down to, I can't believe we're already almost done. We're down to our last couple minutes. Is there anything that you want to let the world know that you haven't said really?
Break.
Oh, we're taking a break in 2 minutes. My bad. Okay, see, I'm in the hospital. I'm on drugs. I'm sorry.
Break, Nikki, break.
I never get a break. This is why. See, Earl, you never give me a break. I don't know what one is. Before we go to break, what should we leave them with a cliffhanger? What are we going to talk about next?
Oh, man.
1 minute.
Just so that they can have time to go get something to drink and come back and hear what you're going to talk about next.
We could talk about the music scene if you want to talk
Alright,
about that.
we could do that. We could do that. Alright, so music scene's coming up, and go get you something to drink and, you know, get comfortable. And we'll see you back. You too.
Alright, I better take my bed.
Oh my God. And we're back with LOL with Miss Nikki here at IntellectualRadio.com. We are not in studio today. We're at a private location, which is my hospital room. But I will do an interview anywhere, apparently. And because I have a special guest, I just could not wait to go back to studio. So I had to have him come by the hospital, and he was willing. So that's totally awesome. What else did I want to say? Please check out all the stuff at IntellectualRadio.com. We have other shows that, you know, we like to feed the brain and educate everybody. So check out all our stuff like Roman Morrow with the Drive at 5. Check out He Said, She Said, the Dominic Nadi Show. Oh my God, there's so many to mention. And of course, please like the LOL with Miss Nikki page. I'm back in studio here with Chicago World News, and we were discussing music. We said that was our topic when we were coming back. That's one thing I like about your show, is that you have had some amazing local talent. And it's crazy, there's so much local talent that is just out there and are really, really amazing and don't get opportunities. So I applaud you for giving them that moment.
Yeah, a lot of the guys who are known in Chicago as the face of Chicago music are not even the most talented or the best ones. You know what I'm saying? There's so many diamonds in the rough that are, you have yet to be discovered here. That's why I want to put a lot of guys out there in the limelight because they really deserve an opportunity. And to a lot of the voices that are coming out of Chicago are negative. You know what I'm saying, as far as the music. And I'm not gonna say no names. I mean, you guys know who I'm talking about. They're helping to disseminate the gang culture. And
they're usually at the front, is what you're saying. Okay.
But the fact is, there's a lot of positive voices here too that don't get the same attention because they're positive. So that's why I like to give them a platform a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, who's one of your favorites? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
well, those guys that I just interviewed a couple days ago, Laquan the MC and Blessed and Gifted is the name of the group from the west side of Chicago. These guys are super conscious, hip hop artists, and they're not getting the same attention as the Chief Keefs, as the the Little Dirks, but they're every bit as good. I mean, lyrically better, I would say.
What is it that you look for because I noticed that when you give your opinion, you're all about the lyrics, not just the beat, not just the sound. I know you're not a fan of the drill, trill, whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. So what is it that you look for when you listen to music?
I look for lyrical talent because picking a beat, really anybody can do that. That's there's guys that have these beats that go really hard, but that's not them creating that beat. Most of the time, it's their producer making the beat. So I look for lyrical talent because that's something that you can't just give to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And there's some unbelievable lyricists in Chicago, but it's weird to me because most of the guys that have made a big name aren't the top of the top, with a few exceptions. Montana 300, Lil Herb, Lil Baby, they're all good lyricists, but most of the guys who are known as drill rappers they're not that good lyrically. And Chicago has so many good lyricists. I wish that they would get more exposure, but they're not in that drill lane. So
it's like you said, if it's not negative, it doesn't get the attention. What is if you had to pick a genre of music, what is your personal? Because all art is subjective. When you either write, like you're saying, the lyricist part, you have to know how to write. There's a lot of people who can't sing that are amazing somehow, but it works for them. Some people, I'm a comedian. When I'm not doing this, I have to be able to write. It's all subjective. Not everybody's gonna like what I do. Not everybody's gonna like my taste. So I'm curious to know what is your
my favorite music, favorite type of music. Well, I like mostly foreign music. You know what I'm saying, from back in my country, back in Greece, and I like Middle Eastern music a lot too. Now over here, that's practically non-existent. I mean, there's nobody making that kind of music.
But there are channels. I have them on Pandora. I listen to Greek music.
Facts. But most of the stuff that's coming out of Chicago is hip hop stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't really listen to that on my own time, but I still hear all the hip hop because I'm just around people that got it, and I stay in tune because it's so connected with what's going on in the streets now. I mean, guys are talking about what's going on in the streets in the songs. Half these guys that are self-snitching on stuff that they've done in the streets are doing it in songs. So it's a song nowadays in Chicago hip hop is kind of an ear to or at least a clue. You might get it in a subliminal kind of way, but a clue to what's going on in the streets. And actually, the police, Chicago police, have even gotten leads towards murders from drill songs. So I mean, it's something that I stay in tune with for that reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. When you say Middle Eastern, are you talking Palestinian? Are you talking?
Well, yeah, I mean, Greek music is similar to a lot of Middle Eastern music, Assyrian music. It's the same kind of sound. Now, I don't, that's the kind of music that you can't listen to for hours on end because it becomes like a drill in your head.
It does.
Mexican music.
Yeah.
Well, no. Here's the funny part. Have you ever listened to bachata?
Yeah.
Okay, to me, when I hear the guitar, it reminds me of Greek music.
Yeah.
So then I'll flip over on my Pandora or whatever, I heart to my Greek music because I love that guitar.
Well, sure. I mean, the Spanish, Greek, Italian, Mediterranean influences all there. Coming to Latin America, so it's all it has a similar sound. Some of it, some of the same instruments, but on on the island where my family is from, we have our own specific kind of music, which is my favorite. But again, it's not stuff that I can get large quantities of, here in the United States. So, I'm unfortunately not able to listen to it that much. But I do listen to the hip hop stuff though, because just, like I said, I want to stay in tune with it. So
I'm always terrible about these new artists. I'll be listening to regular radio and I'm like, who is that? I feel like I missed the boat. Like if I don't listen to regular radio for a week, I'm clueless.
yeah.
I'm absolutely clueless. Yeah, because there's so many new things out now. Like was that electronic music everybody's into, and I can't.
Yeah, there's various genres. I'm not even familiar with all of them.
I'm getting old. I've become that person. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, I know people ask for opportunities. So how do you pick people that you're gonna play on your?
Well, first I check out who they hang out with, and if they hang out with somebody that has beef with me, it's a no. You know what I'm saying? Like there's one guy who unfortunately, I mean, he's a talented guy. He makes good music, but his cousin is in a gang that has beef with me, and like heavy beef with me, and you know, it's just too risky, you know, because I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that I don't trust him, but he might slip up and mention to his cousin like where we're gonna do the interview or something like that, and you know, that's the first thing I gotta watch out for. The second thing I gotta watch out for is talent. You know, I don't want to sit there and encourage somebody who I really secretly think is garbage. You know what I'm saying? So I look at a guy, does this guy really have what it takes to make it? So that I can be honest when I'm complimenting him. Because that's just awkward to me to be like, oh, chase your dream when I know he has no chance. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So.
I have a chance. No, sorry.
Yeah, so that's number two. And then third, like I said, lyrical talent. Just because my personal taste, I like to hear good lyrics. You know, because I can listen to beats. I can go on the internet and get instrumentals all day and just rap over them myself. You know, but I like to listen to lyrics that are creative, that rhyme, you know, that actually rhyme frequently. You know, like a lot of these guys they aren't doing. And mumble rap, if they're mumble rappers, it's an automatic no. And that's like a style of rap today that, you know, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with that, it's like, it's blowing up. A lot of guys are into that, a lot of the kids are into that, but me personally, man, I'd rather have teeth drilled without anesthesia than listen to mumble rap.
This is why I love you. Oh my God, you're so brutally honest. I love it. But I'm sure you've gotten a lot of like junk stuff. I know that on my radio show, even though I don't interview musicians or anything like that, I do get them in my inbox asking would I play their music. And I ask for a sample, they never send it. It's always hilarious to me. I'm like, why are you asking me? You know, and then I can't find the person online just out of curiosity to see what they have. And, you know, I know it's hard and we all try to give people a break when we can, but, you know, I've always asked them too, like, are you signed? Because if they're signed, we can't play them. So that's the other thing. It's like we can do unsigned. Or unless they give us permission. So that's the other thing. But yeah, I get a lot of guys that when they do send me stuff, it's stuff I can't play because they swear. Oh. So, you know, I heard it's clean. We don't do, that's my 1 hour penance a week. I don't get to swear. So, but I know you are a huge fan of basketball. And you have posted some amazing videos. And I'm always like, when I find one, I'm like, he's probably already seen this, but I'm sending it anyway. So I take it you played basketball?
Oh yeah, my whole life. Yeah, from the time I was a kid. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, I was at that level where I probably could have played college, but not pro. You know, so, you know, but when I was entering college years, I was diagnosed, unfortunately, with a medical condition that
won't allow you.
Yeah, won't allow me to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the pace. I won't show it on camera, but I got the pacemaker right here in my chest. I got a congenital heart defect, so yeah, couldn't do it.
Wow. But I know you are like a huge fan because I've seen some of the stuff you posted, and especially all the stuff that's going on right now at the NBA. I'm like, don't have a heart attack because all the crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I can play. I can still play. It's not the endurance. It's that I can't get this knocked. I can't take any impact to this pacemaker. So, as far as like running, that's fine. I can run all day, but yeah, it's too risky to get an elbow to this pacemaker.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So I mean, like as far as your favorites in basketball, who are you following these days?
Well, some of these new guys that are coming out. Lonzo Ball, I think, is going to be a star. Another guy who slept on, he went number 11 in the draft, Malik Monk. You heard it here first. This guy's going to be huge. He went to Kentucky, I believe. He was like number one ranked 2 guard when he was a senior in high school. This guy is a diamond in the rough that people are not paying attention to. He went 11. He should have went a lot higher than that. He's going to be a star. As far as like what's going on with the Bulls, I'm excited about Zach LaVine because he's a lot younger than Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy had plateaued. He had peaked. You know what I'm saying? But Zach LaVine has potential to be one of the best players in the league. So, you know, he got the torn ACL. He says he's fully recovered from that. If he is, I think it'll be in the end a good move for the Bulls. And but this season, I don't think they're going to be good. But they have to make a couple more trades and get some more stars. Unfortunately, like some of the decisions that they've made, in hindsight, weren't good. At the time, they seemed good, but in hindsight, they didn't, you know, pan out over the last 10 years. But I'm optimistic. I'm not a pessimist when it comes to that. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, I'll be watching you on there about that basketball. I laugh and I'm like, man, he's covering everything.
Yeah.
So when you're out there and you're like at home doing your, you know, you're planning and plotting for what video you're going to put up, I know you get a lot of stuff from the media. Have you ever found, and I'm sure you have, corrections that had needed to be made?
Well, all the time, you know, because when you're dealing with these, all my stories really come from guys sending me stories, like guys in the streets. They just hit me up and say, do a story about this.
Because a lot of the comments are always criticizing not just your source, but what you've put as if it's solid stone. Like they don't get that things change as...
The accuracy. Well, it's tough because, especially, and this is one of the reasons why I stopped doing, like, you know, about the murders. Because, you know, and saying specifically, like, you know, this is the guy who's rumored to have killed this guy. I stopped doing that stuff because guys will, you know, when you're dealing with street sources, first of all, stories differ even within the same gang. You know what I mean? Even within the same group of guys that were on a particular, you know, hit or robbery or whatever, you know, 4 guys that went on this together will come back with 4 different stories. You know, so it's like, this is why, you know, if I wasn't there at the scene myself, I just reached a level of discomfort where I was like, I can't really keep on, you know, talking about it in that kind of detail. So now I'll talk about which gang is into it with this gang, and, you know, if something happened on this territory, you know, possibly it was the territory that they got beef with. I'll do vague stuff like that, but I won't be as specific as I used to because too many guys were hitting me up the next day and be like, oh, bro, you know, that thing that I told you yesterday, you got to change that. And you're dealing with teenagers in the streets, and these are not like super. These are not guys that double and triple check before they tell me something.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So but you know I got to put it out that day because you know by the time I check around a week later it's old news.
Sure.
So I'm coming out with these stories by the minute, and then you know guys are hitting me up later and they're saying, you know, hey bro, you got to change this. I'm talking about like actual gang members saying like, bro, my homie just told me that actually, you know, he came around the back and you know it was this other guy. And so then I'm like, oh crap, I gotta change this and publish a correction. Then everybody in the videos sees that correction. They're like, oh bro, you're not reliable. You don't know what you're talking about. So that whole thing was just something I didn't want to deal with anymore. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna just be more vague now.
I see that other states are reaching out to you, especially New York, that they want you to cover stories.
Yeah.
How do you feel about doing
Well, I mean, I can't because I don't feel comfortable not dealing with sources that I can meet up with and link up with and talk with in person. You know, so, you know, over in New York, I'd be dependent on guys sending me stuff via the internet and stuff. Whereas in Chicago, I can actually, like, link up. Like, one of my main sources, like, I go over to his crib, like, all the time and, you know, just talk about stuff with him, like, what's going on. And, you know, that's where I have to be as a reporter. I can't be getting stuff off the internet long distance.
How much longer do you think you'll be keeping Chicago World News up?
I really honestly can't say. I mean,
because I know after like you got exposed and everything, it was kind of like at first you were thinking about like right away like getting like no, and then I know that everybody was like, no, you can't leave us, and you know what would happen to it.
Well, in a couple years, probably in a couple years, my family was talking about moving either somewhere else in the States or possibly back to Greece. So at that point, I would stop. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably stop at that point because if I can't be here on the ground checking stuff out for myself personally,
then
I wouldn't feel like I'm a valid source. You know?
Gotcha. Yeah. But you have covered a lot of stuff outside of even the U.S., which was very educational that people didn't know about. I think you covered something about Africa, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories were amazing. Would you think about going that route?
Yeah, I'll keep doing that stuff here and there, but that's stuff that, you know, they can get from other news sources. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I like about like my channel was at first was that I was the only one talking about certain stuff that I was talking about. And, you know, with that stuff, they can get that off CNN, BBC, you know, so I wouldn't feel like it's...
But I think the way you bring it to the younger generation, explaining it, giving them that history side that they're not going to get in school, they're not going to get on CNN, you know what I mean? Like, to understand the culture of why things happen the way they happen in those countries, you know, they don't get that education.
Yeah.
I think that's huge importance.
Yeah, I would keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? I would keep doing it just because I'm a news junkie anyways. I like paying attention to that stuff, so I might as well share it.
So you like all kind of news, or is there anything in particular that?
Yeah, international politics. I like, you know, American politics is kind of boring to me because although this presidency has switched it up, I must say, but you know, traditionally it's kind of predictable. It's too predictable. Whereas the international politics in a lot of countries, it's not as predictable as here in the U.S. So that's why I like that, and I'll keep doing stories probably about that. So.
Yeah, because in Greece, I know it's like so different over there. Like they have 7 different types of police.
Yeah, and they got all these different political parties. You know what I'm saying? There's so much upheaval. It's a situation where things can be totally turned on their head overnight. Whereas in the United States, there is a level of stability that probably is not gonna be undone. Mm-hmm. You're not worried that the military is gonna overthrow the government in a coup, you know, the next week and something's gonna happen like that. I mean, obviously the possibilities minutely there, but it's not like it is in some of these countries where, like, you know, this is something that's pressing on your mind all the time.
Well, it was so crazy when I went to Greece. I told you a few years back, and it was just like right on the street wall, like near the parliament. It was like, you know, F Americans, and I'm like, hi, welcome.
Yeah, well, that black student that just got beaten to death by the 5 Serbian nationals over at that bar in Greece, Bakari Henderson, I think was his name. Yeah, R.I.P. to him. You know, stuff like that is like, obviously that stuff happens here in the United States too. But I mean, it's just a different context. You know, it's just a different context. Stuff happens over there that wouldn't happen over there.
I just think that like over there, everybody's more aware, socially and politically.
They are. They're much
as opposed here, like you can't. If you ask some younger generation people about history of where they live, where they grew up, the politicians that got them to where they are, they have no clue.
Half these kids don't know who the vice president is. You know,
I always laugh at those videos where they're like, "Who's the president?" or whatever, and you get the girl who's like, "Jackson," and I'm like, "What? Like, what are you watching?"
Yeah, it's sad like that. Yeah, people over there are much more in tune with politics because it's part of the culture. And this is not just in Greece. This is in the whole Middle East.
Oh yeah.
It has a much more, I think, like the decisions that politicians make on a day-to-day basis over there have a much more visceral, direct effect on their lives, I think. You know what I'm saying? Whereas over here, things seem to move more slowly on a more overarching level. And, you know, local politics, you know, the mayoral elections and stuff like that, you might feel that immediately the next day. But over there, you know, in other, like, kind of, I don't want to call Greece a third world country, but it has a lot of aspects of the third world. You know, different programs that the government has have a direct impact on your life today. You know, so it's like people are much more.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if you go off to an actual village as opposed to being in Athens or Mykonos, you know, it's like here. You come to Chicago, and everybody hears all the stuff that goes on crazy here, but it's not like people travel and say, hey, I want to go stay in the hood. What hotel is on the west side? You know, everybody has their own little, you know, hood area.
Exactly.
But I like to say the indigent part of town, like, but everybody has that. So, you know, again, culturally awareness, you know, you got to know, like they say, when in Rome, is it?
Yeah.
So, what would you like to tell your fans that they don't know, you know, about, or that you have never talked about? Like, is there anything you want to let them know about?
Oh, geez, that's an interesting question. I would say, for people who watch my videos, a lot of people, they don't know, like, really the amount of, like, investigative work that goes into each story. They assume that I'm just looking at something on the internet and repeating it. But I don't do that because I see so many false rumors out there on a lot of these other websites. And I'm not going to say no names, but a lot of YouTube channels are putting out information that they just got based off of what they heard in a song or something. Like, when I get this information, I'm double, triple checking, you know, street sources from multiple gangs to make sure that I know that something is really happening. You know, I've gotten a lot of stories sent to me that were bogus stories. They were fans just trying to, you know, play a prank on me, getting me to put out something that was false, that was not true. and you know, I've pulled their card like every time because I double and triple check. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a long time. A lot of guys are asking me, why don't you put out, you know, this story, that story, this story? It's because it's you know, very time consuming to get all these sources, and the sources that I can't get to, I'll hold off on putting out a story about that. A lot of guys have asked me to do stories on certain things. The reason I don't do it is because even though I could get information off the internet about it, I can't get any street sources on it yet. You know, I'm working on a lot of that stuff, but yeah, just know, like, this is a much more time consuming than just the actual editing of a video. You know, the investigative part is like where it really takes up the time. So I just wanted people to know that. You know.
Yeah, so he's putting in the work, people, so you gotta respect the grind. Gotta respect the grind. If you don't know where his website is, you're on IG under...
yeah, Chicago World News, all one word. On Twitter, it's PROVATAKIS. Just that's all, and you can, you know, run that back.
That's all Greek.
Yeah, that's all one word. Sorry, I should have made it something more searchable, but yeah, that's my Twitter, Chicago World News on IG, and Chicago World News on YouTube. So
you will not be disappointed, people. Check him out. Share his information. I'm telling you, the news that he puts out there is amazing. It's mind blowing. You know, it'll really open your eyes to some stuff.
I'm sorry, just one other thing I want to say. There's a lot of people impersonating me now too. I've become aware of this. This is one thing I want to say. There's people calling themselves Chicago World News on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube. People have, you know, stolen my picture, and when I see them, you know what I'm saying, I can report them, but I can't keep track of all of them. So just be aware, you know, if there's somebody on there saying some stuff that, you know, I wouldn't say, or if it's not, you know, check the number of subscribers, especially on YouTube. There was a guy pretending to be me talking all this trash on YouTube. He was called himself Chicago World News, had my pic, he had 0 subscribers. Check the subscriber count. If it doesn't have 49,000 subscribers, it's not me. Okay, double check that always. And yeah, and my Instagram as well. So my Instagram has about 5,000 something followers right now. So yeah, please.
Yeah, so check it out. Make sure you get the right guy, and if you want to inbox him and tell him you found a fraud, that's awesome too. Get these guys out of here, and yeah. Until next time, I can't believe how quick it went. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time.
I appreciate it so much.
Stay successful and keep on that grind, because I follow it all the time. So, like I always say, tell you guys, laugh till you cry, or cry till you laugh, but either way, keep laughing and keep tuning in. This has been LOL with Miss Nikki at IntellectualRadio.com.